For new video updates, subscribe to the NutSpace YouTube channel. One of my students, who's 3 years old, has a tendency of hugging and kissing other children, particularly girls, or the same girl. They aren't friends outside the classroom. Sometimes he tends to get physically violent with girls too, like he tends to choke or strangle them when no one is looking. I have tried to talk to him about consent and even sat both the children down and discussed boundaries. However, this does not seem to help either. Please suggest, what should I do?
Alright, so this is a 3-year-old child. It starts with basically what is a child's development like, and we spoke about cognitive development. If the child's development is normal and if the child understands things, then this will be a different aspect. But if you do find the child's cognitive development is a little delayed and is only about a year and a half or so, then this would be not very surprising. But if the cognitive development is normal and the child is doing this, it could also be an expression of the fact that he is not able to express himself verbally well. So maybe this is some kind of a non-verbal behavior. Otherwise, it could also be the fact that this child has a very high level of hyperactivity, which leads him into kind of aggression, which leads him to always being told no for things, which leads him to having a little bit of an oppositional and defiant behavior. All of this can go and make the child do things which are not easily condonable or appreciable by others. And very often it's just a part of aggression or a part of oppositional or defiant behavior. It could also be something that the child has just picked up from the environment, and today's environment is not necessarily only the parents, it could be the working staff at home, and more importantly it can be the television, and it can be those so-called very peaceful, serene children videos on YouTube, or it could be those child animation cartoons which are anything but serene. They're extremely violent and they make the child much more hyperactive than they should. So I think all of these aspects should be looked into. If you have to try and deal with it, just talking to the child may not help, especially if his cognitive level is not yet age appropriate. What you will need is a lot of play therapy. You will need to explain to the parents. You will have to ask the parents whether they see the same behavior at home. This may be a kid who may be having 3 workers at home, staff at home, and he may be doing this with them at home, may be kicking them and shouting at them, and the parents may be condoning it. So this needs to be changed right from home. And in school, if the child does this, simple things like timeout should be practiced. The point is, if you've tried explaining to him and he hasn't got it, there has to be some, I won't say punishment, but some kind of way that the child understands that he will lose something if he continues to behave like this. And hence something should be taken away. For example, the time he spends with his favorite toy, or the time he spends with the other children in the classroom. There should be some penalty that the child has to pay for it, which makes the child understand, if I do this, I will lose something else that I like. Hence, in order to have what I like, I must also stop doing this. That's the way we want the child to think.